Hey guys! So this is the first panel from home I am doing, as it will be my first panel. So if you are watching this, I did this last weekend, and you can now revisit all the information I sent here in an easy format video where you can see the whole PowerPoint, but also where, you can just, if you didn't get the chance to watch it, you can see. This is the young cosplayer. So this is young in both interpretations, both as you are a new cosplayer or you are quite literally of age, a young age. It's information that's applicable for everyone, so I hope you will learn something nonetheless, but it's from the perspective of starting cosplay as a minor and going through those types of hurdles. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first step we have is starting your cosplay. Now you would think it would be as easy as simply choosing an outfit to do, but it never is. You need to get your references in order of what you are making, whether it's something that is a historical garment or something that is just a little bit funky, You need to get the idea of that. You need to know if you have to pattern a piece, especially when it comes to something like props, of how you are going to do that. Find the patterns you need for the outfit, or pattern yourself. Just understand every single element. Get every element down so you know where to hit, what you have to do. Make a list of how you're going to approach it, of each piece. And you can find references in a lot of ways, and there are more than just one type of reference image. You have concept images that can be widely different than the actual piece of media, the actual garments that you are going to make, especially when you consider stuff like Disney films or something, where is one completely different outfit that merges into a new one. But you can do the concept outfit, you can figure out how to blend the two, but it's good to have those types of informations. One of the greatest gifts that more and more companies are giving to cosplayers is character guides. Now, it is for everyone, especially for artists, a lot of fan artists, but also for cosplay, because us making these outfits of our favorite characters do in turn also help the pieces of media we're making them for. But character guides are 360, typically, images of the characters, and also close-ups of any details and props and that type of thing, so we know every angle and every detail that we need to make. And then there are also things like art books. Art books are going to give you a ton of angles, a ton of different views, and sometimes information on how the original piece of clothing or prop was made, or originally designed if we're talking about something 2D. So those are all helpful, and again, learning what you're actually making. If you're making a corset, learn about different corsets. If you are making some bizarre garment that has not been worn since the 16th century, learn what that is. And sometimes you look at an outfit and you're like, that's not a thing that has ever existed in all of humanity. But I guess I have to make it. And that's when you make up a name for it and just go with it. But it's never quite as easy. So here are an example of a character guide and some concept art using Jinx from Arcane League of Legends and Elsa from Frozen. So with character guide, you can obviously see the 360, and with the concept art, you can see how it has some resemblance to the original outfit, but it's also fairly different. So now we are getting into ways to cosplay. There's no one way to cosplay. There are so many ways, and all of them are completely valid. You have sewing, then you have crafting, and sewing and crafting are two different pieces. Now, generally you use both within an outfit, but it's working two different parts of knowledge, skill, and sometimes you are doing only sewing, and sometimes you're only doing crafting. but they're two different skills that are completely separate from each other that we put together. Thrifting, huge. Recently thrift stores have gotten super expensive, but you can still find gems here and there to turn, especially if you don't have as much sewing skill. You can find something a little bit cheaper that you can modify to make what you want. Also cosplays, just taking things that you already own and making them work for a casual outfit, either original design casual outfit for a character or just, you know, a streetwear that they have that's canon. Or something like a Disney bound, you know? And then you have buying. Obviously, you can buy your outfit too. So, here's some examples of ways to cosplay. I won't go into all of them, but here are a few that's on there. Something like my... And I have videos up of all of these too, of how I put them all together. But like Mary was not one thing. The blazer was thrifted, the skirt was sewn, the blazer was modified. You know, I already had owned the shirt and some other things. With Tulin, everything was made and crafted. With the Haunted Mansion made, the dress, the little cape, the apron, I made with stuff like the socks and that type of thing. I have already owned. And then you can get the rest of them too. And bartering is definitely a part of all of this that exists too. It's just one that I would be very hesitant on because we spend a lot of money and time on these outfits and we don't want someone to mess it up. We don't want to mess it up or get lost or anything like that. So just be very cautious and when you let borrow your stuff. But luckily I was allowed to borrow something from someone dear to me and I was able to make Ursula happen, you know? So then we get into different skills to learn. Cosplay is not one thing, and it's what you make of it too. You don't have to do everything, but you can do everything if you want to. So I say choose what you enjoy and go from there. But sewing and crafting is kind of the basics, but you can also buy stuff. But learning how to sew and craft are pretty damn good skills to learn. You have stuff like makeup and effects makeup, which are also similar but different in some ways. And you can do anything from watching YouTube videos, but that's a lot of practice. Most of these things are practice. But your makeup can make or break an outfit too. It's important. Hair and wigs, whether you're using your natural hair, there's a level of hair styling there, and then with the wigs, that's a whole beast in its own right, you know? That's styling, that's treatment, and that's something you need to know. Nails! Nails is one that a lot of people forget, but it's definitely a thing. Every time I have a contest, I file my nails to be whatever that character is and paint them to be whatever that character is. And usually it's just a normal oval shape with a clear coat of paint. Sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's sharpened. Sometimes it's short. Sometimes it's long. And sometimes there is paint. Sometimes it's a lot of paint. So it's good to be conscious of that because it can, for me personally, I think can take it out a little bit. But it's not something that's often thought about, and it's a nice detail to have. Photography and modeling. Whoa! Again, if you're more casual and you're not trained to take really nice professional pictures, you don't have to worry about something like that. But if you're trying to take those professional pictures, you need to know how photography works. Even though you are the model, in most scenarios, obviously you can't do self-shoots with timed cameras and that type of thing. But even if you're not doing that, you should know how photography works, even as just the model. To know how to manipulate it as well, and just everything you need to do. And then you need some modeling skills. And that's something that also just comes with a lot of practice, a lot of taking really embarrassing pictures of yourself in different angles until you figure out what works for you. But then also just getting comfortable in front of a camera and being able to move in front of it, because movement is your greatest friend when it comes to pictures. Digital editing skills. Sometimes I think that there's been a few outfits that I've not done any editing for whatsoever. So you can go away without doing any editing. But it does not hurt to have some. You know, if you are using Photoshop, that helps. And for work in progress books, having the capabilities to create a nice PowerPoint to print off as your work in progress book is huge, because a PowerPoint that you would have made in elementary school versus the ones you make in high school and college obviously look different and have a different type of visual appeal. And then social skills. That's what I struggle with the most. But hey, I am giving you this information, so I've worked on it. And that's what you have to do, is work on it. Because if you are competing, if you're not competing, if you are though, you're going to be walking in front of a lot of people, being on stage, having people take pictures of you and actively look at only you. If that's not something you're used to, it's hard. And you have to people walk there, do something, and walk off. So that's extra added effort. And then just, if you're going around a con and cosplay at all, you have to be able to interact with other people, because that will happen. People will ask you for pictures, or talk about the character, or franchise, or anything like that. Or then, even if you're doing a photo shoot, and you're doing it in a public location, you might have people staring at you, or asking questions, or any of that. And then if you do get to a stage that you want to do something like panels, that is a whole another stage of social skills you have to work on. And it's certainly possible though. Now here are some ways that you can learn these skills though. Classes. All the classes in your community. A lot of sewers will do sewing classes. There will be some crafting classes somewhere. You can find photography classes in your community. So go look for those outcomes and your opportunities. At school, if you're in high school, don't take a lot of those for granted, because you can learn things like Photoshop at school. You can learn things like PowerPoint. Obviously, every school is different and what they provide, but check. Even your basic home ec class, it's not going to teach you a lot of sewing, but if you have never used a sewing machine before in your life, it will make a difference. So obviously, look for those opportunities. And then there's online classes. There are online classes of everything I just said, but also modeling. I did an online modeling class by, her name's Mariana for iPose, I believe. I will try to link some information, but it was helpful. You can take photography classes, sewing, makeup, not necessarily classes, but you can find a lot of opportunities online and just look for all those types of things. A lot of them aren't free, but a lot of them are not super expensive if you're not trying to do it for a professional reason. Then you have YouTube! Hi! Welcome! You're doing it now! I'm so proud of you! But you can watch YouTube videos on sewing, crafting, and makeup, and effects, makeup, and hair, and wigs, and nails, and photography, and modeling, and digital editing, and all their social skills. Everything you can find a YouTube video for. You can find it specifically for whatever characters you are looking at, but you can find YouTube videos for almost everything. Not necessarily saying that they're all good, but they exist. So you look through and figure out what works best for you. Just watch many. One of my favorite things to do when I'm about to do a new outfit is just take a hot bath and then go watch any YouTube video on that outfit, scroll through Instagram, through the tag of that character, and just see as much as I can. There's general research, especially if you're looking at stuff that you don't know as much, like historical costuming. Go read about it. There's so much to learn. If you are doing crafting and trying to look at stuff like engineering, you're probably going to have to do some deeper research than what you can find elsewhere, you know? And you can also learn skills by just talking to people. People in your community, rely on them. They're willing to help. People online are willing to help. If you need anything, I am totally willing to try to give you some advice. Not that I am super advanced, but I've been around long enough to give some advice or point you in the right direction. So don't be afraid to ask people for help. Now we get into the young portion of this, and this is going to be talking about you and your parents in that type of situation. So I have that outfit. That outfit is the outfit you want to do, and they're telling you to not do it because it is probably either a little bit risque, a little bit too difficult for you, or just something that's not necessarily age appropriate, even if the outfit is that outfit. So there are ways you can work around this, but you need to have an open conversation between you and your parents when this arrives. And obviously this is for minors. So, I mean, if the outfit is too risque, there are ways to modify an outfit to be comfortable to you. Not everything has to be a crop top. You can make it go the full length. Not everything has to have your ass hanging out. You can have a skirt on or shorts and tone it down a bit. My Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, instead of having the panty shorts that she has, I made a skirt. And it still is short, but it's a skirt and I wear shorts underneath. And that's because I was like 15, 16 at the time of that, and I was not about to be wearing that, nor would I currently with my current levels of comfort. And that's where the all ages comes in, is that you're not always going to be comfortable with everything. In terms of too advanced, listen to them. Take it for a grain of salt if they aren't making stuff, if they aren't a crafter or sewer or anything like that. But the best thing you can do when you're learning is to start small and build on each skill. You only really want to be adding one new skill anytime you pick up a new outfit. So if you have sewed a lot but never sewed a bodysuit, do it. But don't try to do anything else new. Don't try to use new fabrics you've never used before. Don't try to do cutouts that are a little bit more complicated. One skill at a time. If you have never made a sword before, don't try to do full-on armor as well. Maybe just do the sword and take it one bit at a time. And then doing cosplays of minias that are a little bit out there for kids, it's hard. Because even as an 18-year-old, there was a cosplay I wanted to do, and I was a legal adult, and I was going to censor it down regardless. But I've waited thus far past 18 just because of the nature of this character. And I think I'm ready to do it at this point, just whenever I have time. But sometimes it's okay just wait. There's so many things you want to make and do, and it's okay just to put a pause on some things until you have the full comfort level to where you should not be uncomfortable at all in your cosplays. And that goes for a lot of things, but just in terms of how you feel emotionally and mentally. We'll get into the other part later on, but how you feel, you know? And that comes with a level of trust too between you and your parents. There are different things like asking for photos that you need to have a conversation with your parents. It's one that I never had a problem with mine. I think they knew too if I was ever actually uncomfortable, I would say no, and I had that freedom too. But you need to know that information, you know? And then stuff like contacts too, color contacts. That is... and I put this here rather than any other slide, just because it's a debate I had with my parents when I was young, and I am glad that they steered me in the right way. And so stuff like contacts just in general, and I'm meaning like color contacts, not your normal average contact, in which I do wear. But so contacts fit your eye shape. You get... eyes are not all shaped the same. They're not all the same sizes. So if you are doing this, you need to go to your optometrist and tell them that you are going to get contacts. And they will give you a prescription that will also have what size you need for your eye. And when you are buying contacts, you should not be buying anything that, one, is not certified, is reputable, and two, does not allow you to choose what is right for your eye. If there is no options, that's a bad sign. You need options. So don't be stupid because you only have 2 eyeballs. Don't ruin them. Do not... Contacts can be great. They can definitely add an effect, but not at the expense of your eye. They are a health tool. They are a medical device, not just something for fun, you know? So keep that in mind. Make sure you're doing it right if you do choose to do it. Contacts expired. Get new ones when they expire. But have those conversations. And also you need to know how to take care of contacts anyways when you jump into this. But that's a whole nother situation because, again, medical device. Just be wary of that. And then we get into social media. Again, this is more towards younger people out there, but it's important for everyone. So, obviously it depends on how you want to take cosplay. If you're just doing this for purely fun and have no intentions of taking it further than that, then you don't really need to worry about it. Even though you do to a degree. So there's always a level of professionalism. If you're going to cosplay with that mind, you need to keep it there in terms of people can see what you like. People can see what you comment. Our feeds all revolve around who we follow, and that's brought back up. What you post can be seen and will be seen by people in your community, whether it's the cosplay community, or here's the other side of when I say everyone, it can be seen by your workplace. So just be cautious of what you put on there. I don't believe cosplay is something you should be ashamed of, that you should have to hide your hobbies from stuff like your workplace. But, you know, if you are posting a lot of inflammatory content or inappropriate content, just no. There's a sense of professionalism. Layout's important when you consider thinking of it. How are you going to arrange your account and set it up and all those types of things? What is it going to be? That is for you to decide and make, but you gotta do that. And then the most important part of social media. Please be safe. Please, please, please be safe. There's so many people out there who are gross. Gross individuals that can't get off of line or simply should not be allowed to exist, or just remember even stuff like sex offenders that have to stay away from children. It's not like that applies on online spheres. People can make fake accounts and go after you, and then grooming is very much a thing. So protect yourself. Try and limit your interactions with other people you don't know as much as humanly possible. And if you feel uncomfortable in any regard, you can block, you can mute, you can soft block. There are so many things you can do. Your safety, you're comfortable, you feeling comfortable is the top priority. How the stranger on the internet feels does not matter. Or even if it's someone you do know, if you have no interactions with them outside of online, then there's nothing stopping you. What are they going to do? You know, just keep those things in mind. People are gross. Just remember that. So now we get into the con environment of all of this. And we are going to continue to talk about safety. Now, con safety is kind of a different thread. And I've personally never had a particular problem at a con, but I know a lot of people who had. So, I've also never been walking around a con completely alone. Stay in groups, buddy system, bring a friend, be aware of who's around you at all given points in time. Don't let your guard down. Remember, just be safe when you're leaving a con. Because generally, the con itself is usually not a huge problem. It's the people around, or the more adult events of it. Be careful in stuff like raves and dances. Be careful of drinks and beverages and food. Anything can be laced. Anyone can touch you at any given point in time. Anyone can follow you. So just be careful. Again, I think cons is one of those environments that's very opening, very friendly, but it's never always 100%. Especially at some other cons. I know some cons have a very bad rep of this that I have not gone to. So know what con you're going to. Know the layout of the con before you go in. Just be as safe as possible. And then we get into the more fun things of cons. So one thing cosplayers have that you may or not know about is handlers. So a handler is someone who is going to assist you throughout your day. Usually a handler is whatever relative or friend you can drag along and force you to hold your stuff for however much time is needed. No, but sort of. But to assist you specifically with outfits that you need assistance in. If you are in full body armor, you're not going to be able to do things like pick stuff up off the ground, hold everything. You need someone to hold your armor pieces so you can go to the bathroom. Those are just things that have to happen. If you have limited visibility, you need someone to help you with your visibility. If you have anything that is a train or trails on the ground, whether it's a cloak or just a dress, you should have someone helping you because you might trip on it, people around you might trip on it, and just all those types of things. Or just when you're taking pictures and you have a water bottle and a phone in your hand and you need to throw it on someone so you can take the picture. Handlers are helpful. They're a tool. They're also our friends and family. So treat them nice. Treat them with respect. We love them. You guys are true heroes. Yeah. You guys save lives. And then you have Death by Cosplay, as I call it. This is the cosplay where it seems like a good idea, but by the end of the con day, you are dead. You have died. Because you have not stayed hydrated, or the outfit was too small and tight, or something was pinching you, Or you chose the wrong footwear and now your feet are bleeding and blistered. Or you did not, you know, you have sweat your entire water system out of your body. Or your wig was too tight and now you have the biggest raging headache that will last for 2 days. I don't care what it is, but it's the cosplays that you should not be wearing for a full day. But you do it. And don't do it. And I understand, especially with contests, a lot of those outfits are not practical. But with contests too, you do not have to wear these outfits the entire day. You can just wear it for prejudging and the contest, and that's all that matters. No one cares what, the judges do not care what you look like outside of judging and the contest. If you are wearing slippers the rest of the con day, no one's gonna care. So be smart about it, and some things can be modified. You do not have to hold the giant prop the entire con day. You can go put it back in your hotel room once you're tired of it. You don't have to wear the super tight wig the entire con day. If you take off your wig midday and have nothing else that you have to do, that's fine. Protect yourself. Your costume is not more important than your health, okay? And then we get into competitions. Now this is kind of where I have some insight as someone who's been competing since they were, I want to say like 14, 15? It's a different world when you are a minor competing against people quite literally twice or 3 times your age. And you are treated differently as well. And obviously each con is different, each contest is different, each judge is different. Something about Hyleo Con, which is, you know, the one that I did the panel at if you're watching this on YouTube. All the judges there are fantastic and have never treated me with any ounce of disrespect whatsoever and have given me so much knowledge to learn from. But at the same time, there have been other times when I have not been given that courtesy. It's not something that I complain about because it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's a contest for cosplay, which matters to me. It is very important to me, but does not matter more than my mental stability or understanding of how this world works. So let's get into it though. You have different divisions. So generally, most cons, again, every con's different, but most times you have an exhibition category for anyone who has not made your outfit. So, or also known as the masquerade. So if you haven't made your outfit, or you just don't want to compete seriously in craftsmanship, you can go for the masquerade type thing where you walk across the stage, do your stuff, but it's more fan-oriented. So a lot of it's like the audience choice, where whoever screams the most gets the most screams, gets the prize, you know? But it's much more laid back. And then you have the craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is typically novice, journeyman, and masters. And again, sometimes more, but these are your standard. So novice is if you have not won or placed or competed at all, and you're current chill there. And most categories for craftsmanship have a certain percentage that has to be made. Novice is by far the lowest, I think typically ranging in like the 50 to 60% range of which you have to make yourself. And then once you have placed or won a contest, you move up to journeyman, and which has a higher percentage, typically more in the 70 to 75% range. Again, every con's different, take this for granted. Well, for with a grain of salt. You get my point. So, you know, another step up, and then master. Each con's different, but typically it's once you have won or placed 3 different contests 3 different times, in which you move up to masters, and that's when you have to be making typically 90 to like 95% of your outfit. And yeah, it's brutal. I say that though, but novice is incredibly hard to get out of. There are a lot of really great outfits and stuff in novice, and there's a lot of people who attend it. So when you only have like a first, second, and third, if that, sometimes it's just first and judges picks, it can be really hard to get out of novice. And that's just something you need to keep in mind. It does not mean your outfit was not spectacular, but when you look and there's 30 to 40 other people, it's hard to stand out. But once you're out of novice, it gets a little bit, obviously the stakes are higher, but you have a little bit more chance to stand out with your own details and stuff. And that's going to matter. Again, as I said, each con is different. Different categories, different percentages, different things they're looking for. But there are some things that are pretty consistent in what you're being looked at. So a lot of it is how much you made yourself, the skills that you've learned. Tell everyone what skills you learned while making it. If you have done something you've never done before, let them know that, because it's important. It's the kind of thing that, especially for judges picks, might actually help you in telling, because people appreciate when you try something new and you did the work and it paid off. But yeah, obviously sewing, finish your seams. That's my number 1 advice. Don't leave your hems willy-nilly. Don't leave things out. Zigzag stitch works wonders. A rolled hem works wonders. And a lot of judges might look for more than that, but if you have that, it's gonna help. And clean, just like stuff like a clean paint job, it's gonna help. Now you can't give the brilliant, lovely excuse that everyone knows, so it's not gonna get you in trouble. But there is this beautiful thing called damage, you know? Like fight damage and battle damage, there you go, that's the term, battle damage. When you mess up, you make that look like you've been beaten up, especially for anything that's fantasy or sci-fi or that type of thing. You turn where you messed up and make it into a cool nod that weathers the look of your outfit. Now obviously that doesn't work for everything, but especially for prop work, or even if you like get a stain on your outfit, you can turn it into something that works with your outfit. Yeah, I mean, then everything is looked at, but finish your seams, finish your hems, that's gonna help a lot. Again, I've talked about competing a little bit as a young cosplayer, but I've walked into prejudging rooms where the immediate assumption was I did not make the outfit, because how could a teenager make something, you know? I've had people I've competed with who have definitely given me that vibe of they don't think I'm here for the same reasons. And it can be kind of crushing too, especially when you know you're younger and you're trying hard and you're not given the same respect you're giving other people because you are young, or when you do place and you can get the vibe from some people that they don't believe you should have placed over them, and there's no apparent reason except for the fact that you are significantly younger than them. It doesn't matter that you've been doing it the same amount of time. Therefore, have developed roughly the same amount of skills. You are younger, and that's going to put a target on you. But at the same time, because you are starting young, you get to learn about the community as you go through. And you have a lot of time to form these bonds and relationships with the people you're competing with. And while I've said my grievances, you still get to meet a lot of people and get to have a lot of fun at these events. So don't take that for granted, but also be wary. Don't feel too hurt when... Because there's also been times where people have straight up broken the rules and have placed over, and there's just nothing you can do. And there's nothing you can do when you walk into a room and you're screwed. But if you know you're screwed, you can go ahead and adjust your expectations. And it'll be okay. Because it has to be. Your work is no less impressive than anyone else. So just keep that in mind. And again, don't mean to be negative or anything. It's just a simple fact of how this works. You're younger. It's going to help you in a lot of ways. It's going to go against you in a lot of ways. You have more time to learn. You're starting young. That's great. You have more time to build these relationships. And you have a variety of characters at your disposal that you can do. You can cosplay at any age, but it certainly helps when you've got the youth to back you up, you know? But you also can have a little bit of hard times with people not believing you deserve what you've worked for. Or people not believing that you worked for it! And you're just gonna have to take it with grace. Keep moving forward, because it is what it is! That's the sad truth, but it is the truth. Progress books! Again, what I've talked about with PowerPoints. So, you want to keep them simple, pretty easy. If you have watched any of my YouTube videos, you see my progress books. That's what the slides are that I show you. So, I keep things like reference images so the judges know what they're looking at. If it's original design, put sketches or where you got the elements that you added that you can explain. Material list is pretty nice. And then talk about every single garment. But don't do too much because it isn't like prejudging. You have a ton of time. So do very light bullet points that just gets the point across so they can scan through, see what you did, and move on. The progress book is important for, one, the reference images, and two, when you inevitably forget something. Because there's gonna be something you spent weeks on, or you had to learn how to do an entirely new thing, but you will forget it. It will slip your mind, and you'll be sitting there like, oh shit, that could have helped me. So that's why we have progress books. You can show them. It also shows them that you actually made this stuff. You have pictures proving that you did it. You did not buy it off of Etsy. Did not force someone else to do it. You got your proof. And then prejudging. It can be nerve-wracking. The more judges there is, the more nerve-wracking it can be. Now, some situations are different where you just go up to a booth of a cosplay guest who's a judge. Other times you go into a private room or a little bit out of the open area and you stand in front of them and you talk about everything. And again, you'll forget stuff. Progress book. This is when you give them progress book. But it can still be a really very informative way. But the best thing you can do is a trick that I did not learn, that I learned from other cosplayers and other cosplay judges, is go top to bottom, or bottom to top, whatever direction you want to go, so you remember every single thing. You start with whatever's in your hair, on your head, your wig, your makeup, shirt, jackets, pants, shoes. You go down the list. Props. Just go down. That's going to help you not forget as much. But I highly recommend competitions. It is one of the best ways to learn and grow, because you get to see how different things were made, get to learn different things from your fellow competitors, or learn what you need to work on from your judges. And it's a lot of fun, because you get the behind the scenes that you don't get elsewhere. Now, this little thing called accuracy. I hate it. Some cosplayers absolutely love it and live by it. I just can't. I cannot. So, canon versus differences. Some people will only make an outfit 100% to how it looks like in whatever reference image they have, versus adding your own little touches. Both are completely valid. Both make incredible results. It's just how you do it. You can gender bend. You can gender bend in different ways. It can be, take someone like Naruto for example. You can have Naruto where you are a girl and you wear the normal fit with a jacket, pants, that's it. Or you can do it where you put a feminine spin on it and add a little skirt or whatever. The same for men, you know? You can have a Disney princess and wear the full dress, or you can turn it into like a prince version of the outfit. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of different levels you can take it to, but it's really just what you like to do. But don't let gender stop you from cosplaying your favorite character. You can make it into however you want to make it. Original designs! I love original designs. It's just fun to create something and have your own details. Write it out, sketch it out, make sure people know where the details are coming from. It's a lot of fun. And then medical. Sometimes it's as simple as you broke your leg the week before the con. You are going to have a cast. It does not mean you don't get to have the same experience that you're planning. Obviously, sometimes with that type of thing, you might not be able to wear the same pants you were planning to wear. But you can make it work with you. If you are doing a contest, you can make your cast something that fits your character. If it is for a medical reason, there's not a single judge who's going to knock you on it. No judge is going to knock you for wearing your prescription glasses if your character doesn't have glasses. If you have a wheelchair, no one's going to stop you. If you need a mobility aid, no one is going to stop you. And a lot of times it gives you a really cool way to express yourself as well. But we all have, well, most of us have medical conditions in some way. If you get affected by heat, do not have an outfit that you cannot get easily in and out of and shed layers. If you are in a wheelchair, you're going to have different restraints and requirements that you have to live by, but you can make them work for you in really cool ways. But in general, it means you are sacrificing a bit of accuracy. But you also get a bit of creativity, so work with it. And again, no contest is ever gonna knock you for it! You can't, because it is a medical thing! It is always valid to take care of yourself. And then we get to my last point of self-respect. You are new to this. Skill takes a lot of time to learn and grow, and be kind to them, both your current self and your little self, because you are learning, you are growing. This is a journey. What you made at first is not going to be the last thing you make, and it's going to be vastly different. But appreciate every step in between. Appreciate what you did good, because that's how you did even better. And remember why you're even doing this. So here's some examples in order from when I started cosplaying till now, with things that I've competed as well in the divisions. And I like to think that there is progress, you know? I remember the love of cosplay is the bond between you and this character that you love, or this outfit that you love. You're creating garments that you can put on your body. That is pretty damn cool. You get to be in character, you get to interact with other people who love your character, and that's really awesome. And here's a little bit of advice that you can take. But honestly, there's a lot, but you got this. So you got a lot to learn, but you can do it. So if you have any questions, again, don't be afraid to ask, don't be afraid to know. But until next time.